Right, so let's go back now to our just full screen. Where did we stop? Sit work number 2. Okay, we're done with this one. And we are now also done with this one. Okay, again, if we have a raised to n minus b raised to n, so just use minus minus plus minus plus. So this one is quite long to memorize, but who knows? Maybe you'll be able to use this one in the future if we have let's say 5, or let's say x raised to 3, let's say plus y raised to 3 if it's an odd exponent. So you can just expand it using this formula. Okay. Anyway, so are we clear so far for this formulas, special products, and factoring?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's have some few examples. We have here 20a cubed b plus 8a minus 12a raised to 5b squared. So we can actually factor out 4 and then a in here, as you can see. Okay. By making that one, that is our, that is our greatest common factor. By making that one, we can transform this into 4a times 5a squared b plus 2 minus 3a raised to 4b squared. Okay, so I would let you analyze and then just give me a thumbs up once it's already clear to you. If not, just let me know so that I could explain more. So GCF means greatest common factor. So we factor out whatever we can factor out in that expression. In this case, we were able to factor out 4 for the number and then a for the variables. Okay, so to know, of course, get all the constants first. So 20, 8, and then 12. So all of them is divisible by 2, correct? But that is not the highest, common factor. The highest common factor is actually 4. All of them is divisible by 4. Okay. And then for the variables, as you can see, all of them has a. Okay. And that is why we were able to factor out 1a. For the b, it's not possible since the second one doesn't have b. But for the first and the last one, first, second, and last one, all of them has an A. So if you are going to reject this one, if you will distribute 4A to each expression, you should be able to get the original equation. Okay, so are we clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. So we have here x cubed minus 7x plus 6. So as you can see, we need to do some tweak, or we need to, let's say, expound one. Like for example, the negative 7x was splitted or expounded into two versions. That is negative x minus 6x. So this is just the same with this one. negative 7x. But why did we do this one? So as you can see, if we did this kind of format, we can actually wait, let me just check. Okay. We can actually transform, okay, let me just erase this one. We can transform this entire, this one, this x cubed minus x into x times x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay. So to verify, let's check. So x times x is x squared, and then x times 1 is x. Okay, retaining the x minus 1. So let's multiply once again. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. Then x times x is x squared. And then x times negative 1 is negative x. So as you can see, we can cancel out this one, retaining the x cubed minus x, which is now same to this. Okay? And this one, we can actually factor out the 6. Correct? Okay? So we can factor out the 6. So we need to place here negative 6 so that once you multiply negative 6 to x, it's negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 1. So if we, if we simplify, or if we multiply this one to each other, just like what we did in this one, you will go back to this format. Correct? So were you guys able to follow so far?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
let me just erase everything so that it's cleaner. Now, we now have this one. As you can see, we can factor out x minus 1 in both of our expressions. So this is one term, this is another term. Or this is one expression, this is another expression, separated by minus sign. Okay? So we can factor out x minus 1, which is now this one. So just place a parenthesis. Okay? And then the remaining terms is x times x plus 1, which is now this one. And then the remaining term for this one is negative 6, since we factored out x minus 1 and then x minus 1 in here. Okay? So are we clear on how did we get this part?
No,
Sir,
please
is
can you
like
explain it?
So in here again, we can factor out x minus
The
1
X
because,
minus 1.
yeah,
We'll take it
this is
outside.
this is one expression, this is one expression. Okay? So this is now the x minus 1 that we factored out, and then the remaining variables is just this one, x times x plus 1, which is now this. The remaining term, or let's say number in here, once we factored out x minus 1, is just 6 or negative 6, which is now this one. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? All right. So let me just place a bracket in here so that it's more understandable. There you go. So the same thing, if we multiply this everything to each other, you will go back here. Okay. Now, next one is we distribute the x. Okay, x times x, x times 1. So that's how we've got the x squared and then x in here. All right. Then afterwards, as you can see, x squared plus x minus 6 is actually factorable into x minus 2 and then x plus 3. So to prove that one, let's expand, or let's verify. So we will have x times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, negative 2 times x is negative 2x, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Okay, so 3x minus 2x is actually x only, retaining x squared plus x minus 6. Okay, so let's see if it's the same. Yes, it is the same. X squared plus x minus 6. Meaning, the x minus 2 and then x plus 3 is correct for this one. That is the correct factor for this x squared plus x minus 6. So as our final answer, it's x minus 1, x minus 2 times x plus 3.
Sir, anong lesson na ulit to?
Polynomials, module 1.2.
Okay, thank you.
So I haven't uploaded the module yet, since you have a seat work in here, which you will do next week once we have our face-to-face meeting. Okay? All right. So in here, the lesson is that from x cubed minus 7x plus 6 is try to factor out whatever you can factor out, just try to transform it into something like this. Okay, if you can come up with 2 terms, it's okay. If you can come up with 3 terms, then it's okay. Just like this one. Okay. The point is, we try to factor out the equation into a more factorable version, just like this one. All right. So for the next number, 2x squared plus x minus 1. So it's the same thing. It's like asking you to factor out number 3 and then come up with the, let's say, 2 terms or 3 terms. So in this case, it's just 2 terms. So let's see, how did we get this 2 terms, this 2x minus 1 times x plus 1 in here. So at first, you can, instead of splitting just like this one, we splitted this into negative x minus 6x. It's just the same. We can also add, okay, just like what happened in here. Okay, so notice that the x is now 2x minus x. Okay, it's still the same, if you will analyze 2x minus x, it's still positive x. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we only did this one so that there will be a 2x in here, so that we could factor out the 2 and then the x at the same time. So from here, let me just erase. Oops. Okay. So we now have 2x squared plus 2x plus minus x minus 1. So this is just the same with this one. Okay, if you will add these two. Anyway, let's go back here. As you can see, we can factor out the 2x for the first expression, this one right here. Okay, that is why we now have 2x times x plus 1. The second one, we can actually factor out the negative sign. Okay, giving us negative 1 times x plus 1. Okay, and notice that we can actually factor out the x plus 1 for each expression in here. Okay, we can factor out x plus 1, okay, which will give us this one. It's just that the x plus 1 was at the right side. Okay, x plus 1, and then the remaining is 2x minus 1, okay, which is now this one, 2x minus 1. And then our factor, which is x plus 1. Okay. Now to verify whether this one is really the same with the second solution, let's prove by multiplying with each other. 2x minus 1 times x plus 1. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. See? So 2x minus x is just simply x. And then this will give us 2x squared plus x minus 1. Okay? So this one was already rearranged. Okay, but yeah, we could say that we could compare this to the original equation, which is correct, you know. So therefore, 2x minus 1 times x plus 1 is a correct factor since it went back to the original equation. Yes, Mohammed Abdul Rahim.
Mr. Dermel, when in the last question you splitted the 7, and here you added the
Yeah,
negative x. When do I have to subtract and when do I have to add like numbers?
it's more on, thinking of a way on what should I add, okay, in here
Oh, so
to
there's no special condition or
no no
anything.
no no. There's no
Oh.
special condition. So it's like in here you're trying to if there is a 2 in here, like you can factor out the 2x. That's one thinking for you to make this one 2x and then separated this one into 2x minus x. Okay? The same thing with the previous example. Okay? So in here maybe you already know that x cubed minus x is separable into uh x times x plus 1 times x minus 1 is 1. Okay. So you have think of splitting in this one into two. Like first one is negative x, the other one is negative 6x. Okay. So the point is to come up with as many terms or expression. Okay. So from nothing into three expression. Okay. And when you multiply these three expression to each other, you will go back to the original one. Okay? So that is why I introduced to you guys. That is why I introduced to you guys the special products, the formulas, like this one from ax plus ay. This one can be actually separable into two terms. This is one term, this is another term, or this is another expression. From 2, this is condition, and then into 2. Okay, using multiplication. From this one, a cube plus b cube into 2 also, which is this kind of format. And then from here, you just expand this one, okay, just expansion, so you will have this one. This one, just use expansion, you will have this one. For this one, from, say, 1, 2, and then 3, okay, we have a plus sign in here. So it's like we want to eliminate the plus and then minus. Okay, plus and then minus. And then changing that one into multiplication or parenthesis. Okay, so everything is now parenthesis. So that is the best answer. We could say that that is already the most factored version of your equation. Okay, so same here from plus sign, plus minus, we have two terms now. 4a times this. From this, we have negative plus into 3 separable expression. So this is the first one, second, and then third. This one plus minus into 2 separable expression. Okay? So it's how you use your critical thinking and then come up with a way without changing the value. We're not really changing the value. We're just tweaking it, okay, by of course making it 2x minus x is just the same with x. But of course you must have a reason on why you're doing that one. All right? So was I able to answer your question, Mohammed?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
So this one, you cannot really master this one just by understanding our lesson for today. This one needs practice. Okay, a lot of practice for this one. Okay, so you have to hone your skill in factoring, in finding ways to come up with two expressions just like this. All right. Okay, so this number 4 is an example of sum and difference of two cubes. So notice that we have raised to 6 and then raised to 3. What we can do is we can actually, transform this one into something like this so that we would have both is raised to 3. So remember our product rule. Okay, it's already in pen. X raised to m raised to n is equal to x raised to m times n. Okay, as to why it's 3x cubed raised to 3. 3x cubed, 3x squared. 3x squared raised to 3. So this one is 3 times 2. That would give you the same raised to 6. Okay. So aside from that, we also factored out the number. Okay, 216. The highest factor of this one and on the 8 is 8. Okay, 216 divided by 8 is 27. 216 divided by, no. 8 divided by 8 is just simply 1. Okay, we factored out the 8 in here. And once we did this one, so 27, right? So let's try if it's still 27. So we just distribute 3 cubed and then x squared times 3. So 3 cubed is actually
27.
equal to 27. So 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So this one is still correct. Okay, now we now have a cube and then a cube. So we can now meet the requirements of the difference. I don't know, sum of two cubes. This is sum of two cubes since it's a cube plus b cube. Okay, our a is 3x squared. Our b is y. Now this is very, very, very good if you were able to memorize this one. Correct? Because if you weren't able to memorize this one, then you won't be able to apply this right away. It's like you need to do that one manually, think of a way how would I factor out this one a little bit more, what can I expand, what can I add, what can I tweak, something like that. But since we already have this one, just follow this formula. Don't forget our 8, the one that we factored out. Okay, our a is again 3x squared. Our b is y. Our a is still at 3x squared. Okay. So it's just that it's already, squared a little bit more. So 3x squared is 9x raised to 4. Okay, which is now this one. And then minus. My bad. Okay. So in other words, I thought it's like positive plus. Okay. And then of course it's still plus in here. But in here, if it's plus, okay, so it's plus minus. Okay, the one that you have to use is minus. So the only time that you will use plus if it's negative. If it's a cube minus b cube, then you have to use minus plus plus. But if it's plus, then it's plus minus plus. That's the sign. That's a sign that you guys need to follow. So minus a is 3x squared, and then b is y, so it's already here, plus, and then b is y, and then the squared, so just y squared. And this is already your final answer. Okay? So were you guys able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay? Again, so this one is very helpful, especially if you were able to memorize it. So it's like you are a non-thinking person, less critical thinking to be exact. okay, because you were able to find a exact match, okay, of this one, okay, which you transform into something like this. So once you already obtain the A and then the B, this is your A, this is your B. So it's just a matter of plugging that one to our formula for the sum and difference of two cubes. All right. So if you have a question, so you can ask me now before we proceed to the next example. All right. So it seems that there is no more question. So let's proceed to the next example. So in here, it's 9x squared plus 10x plus 1. Okay. So another the other step that I will teach you guys is the so-called trial and error. Okay, I rely more on this one than doing, adding, subtracting, tweaking. Okay, I go straight by knowing the values. Okay, for me, this is the fastest way. Okay, so I assume that, from this three, we will have two separable expression. Okay, or a factorable expression. So first is that we can get the number at the last, you know, what could be that number that once we multiply to the last one will give us 1? I think that is 1 and 1, correct?
Yes, one and one.
Yeah. Now, for the sign, we can already assume that everything is plus. No, already write that one since we don't have minus sign in here. The next one is how will we get this 9 and then x squared in here? So for sure, we have x and then x in here. Okay. For the number, we can have 9 because 9x times x is x squared. Correct? Is that correct? Now, to verify this one, it's just a matter of multiplying this expression to the other expression. So 9x times x is 9x squared. 9x times 1 is plus 9x. 1 times x is plus x. And then 1 times 1 is 1. Then adding these two will give us 10x. And as you can see, this will give us the correct answer, plus 1. Okay, which is now the same to this one. Right? So were you guys able to get the idea of the so-called trial and error? You can use this one, it's okay, it's fine. Okay, and like in here, I think it added 9. Yeah, multiply trinomial by 9 and divide it. Yeah, this one is quite complicated. But if you're good with this one, yeah, well, of course, you can also follow this. And then, as long as we will come up with the same answer, then no problem. Not this one. This. Okay? So are we clear? Any questions? Clarification?
Clear.
Okay, again, I really highly suggest you guys to, practice, especially the practice exercises that I'm placing on our every topic. So make sure to do them. That would help a lot in mastering for each or every topic. Okay, so since we don't have enough time anymore, okay, we will just continue this one next week. Okay. So for now, yeah, just practice. No assignment. Okay, we'll just continue this one, and then once we're done with module 1.2, then let's have a quiz again on Tuesday or by Wednesday. We'll see. When will we be able to finish module 1.2? Okay. So just a quick roll call to see if everybody was already checked in their attendance. So Abdul
Excuse me,
Hussein,
sir. Yeah,
you're here?
yeah, yes.
Okay.
But
All right. Alviar. Alviar, you're here? Binggit, Bokari, Kabangkala, Directo, Urboda, Javier, Lee, Mohammed, Osama Ahmed Saleh, Naoy,
Present, sir.
Naoy, okay, Naoy is present. Okay, what about Olayo, Oredina? Yeah, Olayo and Oredina. Okay, no more? Okay, so that would be all for today's online meeting. So let's just meet again next week Monday. So see you guys next week Monday.
See you, sir.
see you.
Okay, see you.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye.
And
Thank
thank
you
you.
for attending my class.
Bye,
Bye
sir.
po.
Thank you, teacher. See you.
Okay, goodbye.